So it is now official. Utah authorities and the FBI have come out saying they have caught the Charlie Kirk killer. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is the person who allegedly committed the crime. And some details have come out about him that are fairly interesting, and people are continuing to spread, talk, figure out who this guy was, what his background is, and just wanting to know more about the man. Because that's human nature. It's the human condition of curiosity, of wanting to know the person and what brought the person to do this heinous act. And the announcement took place today, and there's a couple things that kind of came out which I thought were very interesting. Governor Utah was sharing of what we learned about him. He allegedly went home and essentially kind of alluded to it a little bit with his folks, and his family's like, that seems off. And then there were Discord messages, and then that's kind of how they ended up tracking him down. His folks ended up turning him in. He comes from a household that allegedly comes from a Republican household, grew up fairly right-wing, and then went to school. And at some point got radicalized, even though he only did a semester at Utah from what we've heard and what we've seen. And we're waiting for details of how he did officially get radicalized, as he believes Charlie Kirk was a fascist and wanted to make sure fascists don't live any longer. I have a couple clips from the press conference itself that bring up some interesting details, and we'll discuss kind of what the reaction to all of this really is.
The family member referenced a recent incident in which investigators in white logo, in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel.
So there's a kind of a little bit of the details of what the family was seeing leading up to the event, what happened post the event. Some of his roommates were talking about what he had done and what he was communicating via Discord. And the details are going to continue coming as the days progress. We are going to learn more of what's happening, what is going on. And the one last detail I do want to share here with this news clip is what was actually engraved on the bullets, and they describe it here.
Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
So that was the inscriptions on the bullet casings. The Bella Chow statement is actually a song that originated in Italy that was ended up being adopted by anti-fascist movements to leverage themselves against Nazi Germany. This is a song that has been adopted and used at Antifa events, and this is kind of their go-to. So it's been very clear, at least at this point, his motives were that he believed Charlie Kirk was a fascist. He needed to be stopped, and considering that he didn't really have positive things to say about Mr. Charlie Kirk. This is what we know so far. Obviously, details will emerge as the days go on, but this is getting a bit of an idea. What's been happening, though, is people have been digging up his history and learning that he has two parents that are allegedly Republicans, who are pro-gun, who are allegedly Trump supporters. Allegedly, again, these are all details that are constantly changing and moving as we go. That's what people are saying at this point, based on Facebook posts and so on. And so what has happened, because of his family's history and because of his family background, well, the left is running with it. We're now seeing posts on X saying, clearly he was a Trump supporter. You guys are the problem. Stop talking to us. And we're seeing some of these posts. See from Billy Baldwin here. He says he's not black, he was not trans, he's not Muslim, he's not an immigrant, not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson, a white Christian conservative Republican male with a gun. Again, this is the rhetoric they're now running with. Because of some Facebook posts of how he grew up, they're already making assumptions of who he is. But when you look at the motives, what he's talked about, I don't know very many Trump supporters who yell at Charlie Kirk that he's a fascist. That seems to be rhetoric that comes from one particular side of the aisle. But this is what we're going to start seeing as the days progress. They're going to take a little bit of detail out of context in order to support their narrative and be prepared for this to happen. I've been on the phone a lot over the past couple of days with so many friends, acquaintances, so on. Just hearing them out, hearing their frustration, their fear, and it's been getting worse by the day. What started off fairly decent, people getting it and having empathy and understanding where people are coming from and why this feels so heavy on them, are now moving into full-blown debates and fights with their family because of things like the CBC are reporting, the mainstream is reporting, or even posts like this that are gaining full steam ahead. People are running with this. I'm seeing many prominent leftist creators are now pushing this forward, saying this clearly isn't a left-wing problem. This is only a right-wing problem. You guys are killing yourselves. Meanwhile, it's been clear at this point that Tyler Robinson had leftist ideology, and that's what he acted on. And these lies are getting very concerning, and I'm warning you to be ready for it. Be ready for people to use this as an argument. And I think back to the likes of Charlie Kirk and how he would go about his debates, how he would never get caught up in emotion based on what people were coming at him with. People always came at him with emotion, and he did his best to break them down with logic and facts. And there's many times where people simply are always going to resort to their emotion because of their weakness. And that doesn't have to be your decision. Your decision can be to continue to live thoughtfully, continue to be a harness of your own emotions, to think and speak clearly, articulate your position, and do not cave to their emotion. You know the facts at this point. Continue doing the research and doing the work on your own, and simply speak clearly. The people who are reasonable in your life will hear you out, and you'll be able to change their mind. And the people will make themselves very clear if you can't change their mind, because they are so captured by the moment and their emotion. They win if you cave to your emotions and live by the ocean waves of those emotions. Stand firm, stand steady, speak with wisdom and compassion, but just know a lot of BS is coming your way when it comes to these types of conversations. I've already had a few myself already. People cherry picking what they found on the CBC. Saying, well, Charlie did this. Don't care. Guess what? Don't care. Just because you disagree with it doesn't mean he deserved to die. He wasn't advocating for the death of people. Like, I don't know. Who knows? Like, what's his face? Stephen King just threw out there on X the other day. Posted that Charlie Kirk advocated for the stoning of gay people. Put that out there yesterday, and then swiftly got corrected by a post that Charlie Kirk posted in 2019 saying, I believe marriage is one man, one woman. Also, gay people should be welcome in the conservative movement. As Christians, we are called to love everyone. I will always stand against people who wish to establish their own personal values as a reason to kick others out of our movement. Then he swiftly withdrew his statement and apologized, but the damage had already been done. As I said, we're going to see a lot of that. Can't give in and get down to their level. We have to overcome and beat this ideology. Our battle is not against flesh and blood, but it's the spirits of this dark world. And that's the battle right now. The enemy is not your friends. It's not your family. The enemy is the ideology that they've been corrupted with. And it's on us to help them work through that and help them see that there's a better, more fulfilling way to live life. But anyways, enjoy your Friday. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out.